everybody. So we had a great time talking with Michelle. She's super fun. We do have a little bit of profanity in this episode, just a couple of words, but just a heads up, if you're listening with kids or whatever, then you might want to know. But I think you'll really enjoy the interview. So thanks so much. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Hallmarkies podcast. And we're really excited today. We're talking with Michelle Argyris, who's the lead actress in Lifetime's upcoming record-breaking Christmas. And Michelle, thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
Thank you so much for having me. As I was saying, I love your hat.
Yeah.
It's so cute. Like cute little elf hat.
Thank you. Yes. So, what we like to do with our new guests is we like to get to know you a little bit. So tell us a little bit about yourself and what inspired you to get into acting.
Ooh, a bit about myself. Oh gosh, that's such a big, broad question. Well, I like long walks on the beach and coconut ice cream. No, I started studying when I was younger. My first film was a horror movie, actually, called Devil Maid. I jumped right into the good old thrillers. And so I kind of started studying after that film. The opportunity came up to do it. I kind of dove in and then started studying afterward because I loved being on set and I was like, this shit is the best. So how do I get paid and do this more? So I'm
how
like,
old were you when you did that horror movie?
I think I'm gonna go with I was 18. So I started a bit later. Yeah. And I was like, I want to do this every day. I'm like, but I want to be good at it. So I'm gonna go study. And so I started studying at different schools, and spent a lot of time kind of like, just honing the craft and worked my butt off.
Did you act in like high school? How did you get from where you were at to having this role in this movie?
Got it. So my very first theater role was in high school.
Yeah.
And it was for Grease, and I played Marty.
Nice.
And I will never forget this because Marty sings a solo. I'm not a singer, so that was terrifying for me. And I forgot my words and the song in the middle of the solo. So she's like, Freddie, my love. And then Rizzo and all the others are in the front. They were going, the backup singer's like, ah, ah, ah. Yeah. And I'm like, Freddie. I was like pretending to comb my hair. And I'm like, holy shit, 1 count of 8 just went by. Oh God, 2 counts of 8. I'm like, is everyone still looking at me? Everyone knows I'm not singing. And I was trying to hide it. And then Rizzo turns around and she's like, to me. And I'm like, combing my hair. So basically, she kept singing the song for me. So Erica, thank you. If you're out there and you're listening, thank you for getting me back in because that was a traumatizing experience for me. But funny enough, nobody noticed. I don't know how that's possible. I don't know how they didn't see that, but somehow.
Well, that's part of the fun of local theater, live theaters, is that rawness, that it's not perfect. I think that makes it more fun.
Yeah, totally. So there's my very first experience of getting in front of people.
And did you just see like an ad for we want people for this horror movie, or?
Oh, I worked on a commercial, and I met the producer and his wife. Were creating a horror movie. They're like, oh, we want you to audition for this. And I was like, okay, cool. I'm like, let me know when it happens. And I thought they were just kind of saying that. And then sure enough, a month later, the producer reached out and he was like, hey, so the auditions are happening. Can you audition for Alex, which was the main character? And I was like, yeah, for sure. Let's do it. And then, so yeah, I ended up booking that role, dove into some horror stuff first, got that initial experience of what it's even like being on set, how to memorize lines, how to do it on somebody else's cue with zero experience. So I was not seasoned before doing that film.
Yeah.
Now everyone's going to go watch it. Don't go watch it. No, actually go watch it. It's fine. We always start somewhere, right? It's actually a really cute film. It was done well. So then from there, I got myself, an agent, and I did, what was it called? Blue Mountain State was my very first bigger production. And then, just started to really love diving into different types of characters. I started off with a lot of like more thriller type characters, villain roles.
Mhm.
And then I landed my very first Christmas movie, which was Homemade Christmas a couple of years ago for Lifetime as
Mhm.
well. And then followed up with Welcome to the Family Christmas Reunion last year. And then we have Record Breaking Christmas this year, which is exciting.
So, yeah, I bet that that gives you a lot of kind of sympathy for when you see new actors that are in stuff that because you know you've been there.
100%. And it's an ongoing journey too. Just because I have more experience now doesn't mean I don't still get nervous at times. I'm a human, maybe I
Yeah.
had a bad day and then I'm ready to do my scene. And then maybe lunchtime break happens. Then you have to go to your trailer, wait, an hour and a half for lunch, then re-get into hair and makeup and then get back and ready to go on someone else's cue. Like you aren't always feeling your greatest. You could be sick that day, you could have a cold, and so we still have to perform no matter what on someone else's cue, and we do some really, really long hours as well. So it's not always easy. It can be very
Yeah.
difficult on set in that sense, but it's so fun. And when you get to see a character, be brought to life, it's
Mhm.
there's nothing better than that. Yeah.
Did you grow up in Vancouver?
I grew up in Toronto.
Oh, in Toronto. Okay.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
other
I live
hub.
in LA now. Yeah, the other hub.
That's
Yeah.
cool. What does your family think of you being in movies and things?
I think I think they think it's really cool,
Yeah.
and exciting, but I think that, it's they hesitated when I said I wanted to do that
Yeah.
because it's not the most, what would be the word?
Well,
Stable.
it's not the most stable. Yeah.
It's really not. So, you could have an amazing year and then a quiet year, and it can kind of jump around. So, I was like, Mom, I don't care. I love this. I'm going for it. I'm going to try it. And if I fail, that's okay. Like, I'd rather know that I tried and failed, whatever failure means,
Right. Yeah.
not made it or whatever, than know that I never gave it a shot to begin with.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah.
yeah,
So were you in LA for the pandemic, for the quarantine when
I
we
was.
were locked down?
Yes. Yeah.
Did you
Yeah.
do anything? Did you make any sourdough or anything like that?
My
Do
gosh.
any puzzles?
No. I made so many puzzles. I don't I made so many puzzles. Oh my God, it's hilarious. You just brought that up. I just threw them out because I had too many and I tried to lift them and then they all kind of broke apart. I even got glue to try to keep it together because I wanted
Yeah.
to put them up on my wall and be like, look what I did over pandemic. So many puzzles. Um, but I don't have them now, but I actually it's funny if you look on the floor over there, I have another puzzle I started yesterday finally. It's a Christmas
Nice.
one. So
Uh-huh.
um, but no, I actually filmed a couple movies during pandemic,
So pretty
which
early on, you were filming.
yeah, which was interesting because it was in the hype of everything. And like I've done a lot of rom-coms and Christmas movies lately, and they all involve kissing, which
Uh-huh.
I won't complain about that. Um, but it, on one of the films I did, Love in Translation,
Uh-huh.
we had to kiss with a plastic.
Uh, yeah,
So
that was just I mean, that was just stupid. Like
yeah,
if you had like I understand but if you have everything sanitized, it because they have to the way they have to shoot it with that is so strained and so weird looking. I haven't seen that particular movie, but just in general,
yeah.
those have been not great.
Yeah, I
Kisses.
mean, hey, you can't tell, so that's good news. But yeah, I remember like looking at Corey. Corey Sevier was my
Yeah.
co-star on that one, and we're like, on the actual take, should we just like do it and be like, like, oh shit. I'm like, come on, we worked so hard on this movie. Everyone's waiting for this moment. This is like the moment that needs to be milked and enjoyed,
Yeah.
you know.
I'm glad they
But
got rid of that. I
the
really
director came
am.
up because I forgot there was an earpiece, and he came up to us and he's like, "Don't you dare think about doing anything that do not move the mouthpiece." We're like, okay, okay, okay. So we did it.
What a
I
time that was. Crazy.
It's just wild, yeah.
Yeah.
And honestly, though, it's so nice to do Christmas movies during this period because everything was so heavy, so
Yeah.
much happening, so much heaviness, so much
That
fear.
makes sense.
Yeah, so it's nice to have some joy and laughter and love,
Yeah.
even if it is the cheesy rom-coms that just work every time, it's the same formula, but it always works.
Yeah. We'd like to take a second and thank our sponsor for this episode of the podcast. From the hosts of the podcast Home for Hallmark, Molly and Brad now bring readers their debut novel, If Only Christmas Would Come. An instant Amazon bestseller, If Only Christmas Would Come transports readers back to Prince Edward Island during the era of Anne of Green Gables and features a strong-headed, cranberry farming, jeans-wearing heroine and a playboy with a family secret. Reviewers agree this book is a fluffy, steamy, predictable Hallmark movie masterpiece. If Only Christmas Would Come is available on Amazon and at Barnes & Noble now. Visit at Home for Hallmark for more info. That's at Home for Hallmark, and you can use our affiliate link in the description below. You had a run on General Hospital.
Yes.
And I always like asking the soap opera actors about the dishy plot lines that you had. Did you guys do anything fun?
Yeah. So I was on for a while and I did I came on seeking vengeance against one of the main characters who's been on forever, Nancy Lee Grahn. And so I'm trying to gain her trust by this. I'm like this fitness instructor who comes in and I'm like, I can help you out. I'm like, let me, train with me. And then I start poisoning her through.
Nice.
So dark. And like every time I get cast on something, whether it was Shadowhunters or General Hospital, it's like, it starts off nice. And then somehow the writers are like, let's spin her to like kill people or like do evil, horrible things. I'm like, okay.
I would want to be a vixen on a soap opera. I think that would be way more fun.
Oh, it is. It totally. And there's a whole bunch of cameras too, which I had to learn because usually, we have less cameras. There's so many that you only get one take because they get every angle they need and that's it. Right.
Yeah.
So every time, and there's like 15 pages of dialogue. I'm like,
yeah, I know those those soaps, the dialogue is heavy. Like they have so many to memorize, so many pages.
Yeah, it's a lot. But then you get used to it. But I will tell you, I was like very terrified the first day that I walked in on a soap, which I'd never done before. Actually, I did Bold and Beautiful, but it was a quick little day player. It wasn't like a meaty
right
role. So
like Kendra, right? Is that character's name? Kendra.
And then honestly, my favorite was the 15-minute monologue. I think it was like 20 pages of just me speaking because I poisoned Nancy so she can't talk. And I'm just sitting there like, just spewing out all this all over her. And it was fun. It was fun to play that. You're right. It's fun to play the villain once in a while for sure. Yeah.
So you mentioned that you were in Welcome to the Christmas Family Reunion, and that's done by our friend Jake Helgren, friend of the podcast.
Yeah, Jake.
Yeah.
Jake. Oh, I love him. He's awesome.
So yeah, that one must have been a fun one to be part of. Fun group ensemble.
Yeah, that was a blast as well. That was what, last year? I'm like, pandemic hit, and then I just blinked twice and like 3 years went by. I'm like, which one was when? I think that was 2021, I want to say. Oh yeah, like such a fun group to work with. Jake was awesome. Alonzo is so sweet, and like Vanessa and everyone just kind of brought their own thing to set, and it just created some like magical moments. So that was cool.
Yeah. So then you mentioned Love and Translation with Corey, and I just watched the trailer. I like, wow, that looks like a lot of fun.
Yeah,
I gotta watch it.
That one was cool. That was done in the summer in near Toronto in Hamilton, actually. And it was like 14 days of filming.
So you were near where you grew up.
Yeah, it was right near my mom's place, actually. She came and
cool.
joined on set one day.
Oh,
We were
nice.
filming in the park, but because it was pandemic, we couldn't have anyone come inside. But her and her partner were like watching behind the tree and like waving at me. I'm like, hi, Mom. Hey.
That's so cute.
Yeah, it was nice for her to be able to experience it because I always talk about it, but they don't, like, until you're in it and you see what's going on and what it looks like behind set, you guys see what's in front of the lens, but behind the lens, there's like 500 people, someone holding a boomstick, someone like, directing to the left, and you're like trying to take notes, and so much is happening, so you have to stay super focused.
Yeah.
So love that my mom came, but she couldn't stay for long. I'm like, I have to focus over here. You're distracting me.
Now, these TV movies, they shoot pretty fast. Is that, what's that like?
Oh, girl, they're like 12 days, usually 14 if you're lucky. And we usually get the script, like I usually got cast on these maybe within a week of filming. So I get handed 120 pages and I'm just reading through it as much as I can so I can first understand story and then start looking at scene to scene to scene. So I mean, I personally, it takes me time to memorize. So I ain't no robot. And I'm like, I would try to understand each scene as much as I can. But then, you get to set and I would just be like, okay, let's focus one scene at a time. And what's difficult is we jump. So you could start with an end scene to the movie, then a middle scene,
Right.
then back. And so because it's not filmed yet, you're like, okay, where did we land emotionally like 2 seconds before this next scene happens, but we haven't filmed it yet. So you're really trying your best to understand stories so that you can keep that emotional um, consistency throughout the film. Yeah.
Does the director help you kind of with that? Like get an idea of kind of what's going on?
Definitely. Like I'm like, thank God. Like Max was the one on Record Breaking Christmas, and he was so amazing at being like, hey, but we have this coming up and this just happened. That's right. Okay, cool. Like reminder that this is, or I don't know sometimes what his vision was. Maybe I imagine something sitting and then we get to the scene and it's standing and it's in front of a tree and I'm walking and it's just not what I had thought in my head. So I've learned as I've done films not to pre-plan anything. Just focus on what do I need from the person in front of me in each scene? Like what's my intention? What do I want? And then let the rest go and just know the dialogue and then just be open to whatever direction you get, because you don't know what the vision is and I can't see what's behind the lens. So you have to trust. That's where trust comes in with the directors that you work with.
Well, yeah, I imagine that's especially true, and maybe not as much in these TV movies, but if you're doing something where there's going to be visual effects or other things like that, like you really don't know. There's just the
Hoping for
green
the
screen
best.
and everything. Yeah, the best.
Hope this looks cool. And you're like by yourself, like doing some weird thing. And then like, they're like, trust me, it's going to look good. You're like, okay. And so I
Yeah.
know in Record Breaking Christmas, there was a moment where she's sitting and like she looks up at this little ball, and then there's a flashback where or a flash or a daydream where she gets to make out with the
No.
co-star, and then it
Yeah.
comes back and zooms back into her and someone yells and she like falls out of the daydream. But like filming that's awkward because you're like just staring at nothing for a
Yeah.
second. There's 500 people just staring at you and you're like just like imagining this like moment that you don't even know what
Yeah.
it looks
That would
like.
be hard. That's funny.
And then but then it's cute when it got put together,
Mhm.
so yeah, just you got to trust.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ho, ho, ho. We'd like to take a second and thank our sponsor for this episode of the podcast. It's the Hallmarkies Patreon.
Do you love Hallmarkies podcast, especially at Christmas?
Do you enjoy the holiday previews, recaps, interviews, and bonus episodes?
If the answer is yes, please consider supporting the Hallmarkies Patreon. We need your help to do what we do both during the Christmas season and all year round.
But not only do you help a podcast led by strong, independent women by becoming a Patreon, you get to become a part of the Hallmarkies family.
Starting at only $2 a month as a patron, you will have access to our Facebook Patreon group where we talk about the movies, shows, and more all year.
We also have many monthly patron watch-alongs with guests like Lacey Chabert, Natalie Hall, Paul Campbell, Mary Lou Henner, and more, giving their behind-the-scenes details of their films.
As a patron, you also have the chance to provide input into the podcast and even join us at different tiers.
So this Christmas season, spread some cheer to the Hallmarkies Patreon and become a member today. You won't regret it.
Go to patreon.com/hallmarkies to learn more.
That's patreon.com/hallmarkies. Let's talk about Record Breaking Christmas. So this Thursday, How did you end up getting involved in this project? Did they come to you, or did you send them a
Yeah.
self-tape, or?
Thank you, Lifetime. So this is the third year with Lifetime. Yeah, it came in as an offer to play Leah in Record Breaking Christmas. And I was very excited because I'd already worked with Lifetime now 2 years prior. And I just love their Christmas lineup. I just love the way they do it. I love the way they celebrate like everything. And they're just so good at like bringing Christmas together and making you feel that Christmas magic. So I love being in that lineup. So I'm very happy about that. I just
Mhm.
forgot what your original question was.
No, you're fine. So, so tell us a little bit about it. Tell us a little about the movie.
Yeah, so this is a cute one. So she's kind of a Scrooge in the beginning. So she's a world record adjudicator, which I didn't even know that that existed before this movie. Now I do, and I know a lot about it. So she essentially goes into a small town that's trying to break all these Christmas records. And she's kind of the Scrooge that finds a rule in the rule book, which says that they didn't make it. And then she meets this beautiful, gorgeous Dr. Devon and
Ah,
falls in love. And, instead of being so rule-based and thought out, she starts to dive into her heart space. I think by meeting Devon and seeing the love of family and Christmas and like what really matters in life, which is can't be written down in rule books all the time. And so she kind of loosens up and like, her heart melts
mhm.
throughout the film and then falls in love.
Yeah. So, can you tell us some of the records that are being broken, or is that a
Gosh,
spoiler?
I think it might be a spoiler. We can't
Okay.
say that.
Okay.
But they're all Christmas related. I can't say that.
Okay.
Yeah, they're very interesting. I've never thought of them before. I wonder if
Yeah.
they really exist too. I should Google that.
What would you be closest to getting a world record in, if you were going to go through and be like, what? Maybe
World's
puzzle
fattest
making?
tongue.
What'd you say?
The world's fattest tongue.
Oh, really?
See?
We gotta
I'm
see
not
it.
kidding. Yeah, okay, okay. This is like when someone's like, do you have any like tricks? I'm like, no, I can't sing, can't like, there's a lot of things I can't do, but I can do this. I'm like,
I think you
it's
should
not,
call
I'm not
him.
curling it. It's like out and just
Yeah.
standing. You see? Is that gross?
No,
Sorry.
it's not gross.
We're on a Christmas episode and I'm
If
busting.
you're not watching on the YouTube, you're really missing out. Let's put it that way.
That's true. That's true. So
Well,
maybe,
very
world's, I don't know how we can make that Christmassy, but I'd say world's, largest tongue.
yeah, I think you should be calling them right away.
Yeah.
Uh,
So
so let's see here. Did you film this in the summer
yes, we
in
did.
in Vancouver?
Which
Or
it was, where were we? Ottawa. We were in Ottawa, which is
okay.
that's where I did Homemade Christmas too. I love filming in that town. They're so sweet. It's the best crew. Everyone's just so homey and like thoughtful. It's awesome. But yeah, we filmed in summer in winter coats.
Yes.
There was one scene where it was literally pissing rain. And we were like, we can't, there's just no way you can't hide that. Like, how do you hide rain? And we are on a time thing. So every minute that goes by, we're losing more minutes later in the day or for another scene, or we get less takes. And it's just like every minute counts. So we waited for about an hour and a half, maybe even 2 hours out of our day for the rain to stop. And at one point we're like, we're just gonna have to do it. So we had umbrellas and tarps and everything. And it was like my hair was all cute and then just ruined, but we had to just go with it. So
Yeah.
if there's hair continuity issues in that one scene, it is the rain's fault, nobody else. God. Yeah.
So, yeah. So did they put like ice packs in your jacket and stuff like that? Keep it
Yeah,
cool.
it's really interesting. So in like real life, you can tell it's fake snow. And I'm like, how does this look real? And then I look into the camera lens and I'm like, holy shit, this looks awesome. Like it
Yeah.
looks so Christmassy. Like you wouldn't even believe that it was the same spot. So they really like props and the decor. They know how to do it to make everything look really like
Yeah.
Christmas magical. We need that in these movies. It's really
Yeah.
important to
They're
have.
pros. I mean, there are sometimes when the fake snow is just not great, but like for the most part, they've got it down after all these years.
Yeah.
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 We'd like to take a second and thank our sponsor for this episode of the podcast. It's the Hallmarkies merch store.
Are you looking for that perfect gift for the postable, Hardy, or Hallmarky in your life?
What about getting that t-shirt or hoodie that will help you stand out at your next holiday party?
Now is the time to check out the Hallmarkies merch store.
Full of festive designs by artists like Jessica Miller, Carrie from Hallmark Comics, and more.
You can even have more than just shirts, but totes, cell phone cases, notebooks, mugs, and more.
And it isn't just Hallmark. We have designs for Anna Green Gables, Man from Snowy River, The Nanny, and more.
Every purchase at the merch store goes to help support the podcast and allows us to make the great content you know and love.
There are frequent sales, so go to tpublic.com/stores/hallmarkies or see the link in the description.
That's tpublic.com/stores/hallmarkies.
Are teamed up with Andrew Bushell in
Mhm.
this movie. So how do you work on the chemistry between the two of you and try to get that to be something that's sizzling on the screen?
Oh my gosh, that's a good question. Sometimes chemistry is just there, or sometimes it's just not. I've lucked out with my co-stars. I always find something that I really love about them. And so we have a lot of camaraderie behind the scenes, and then it helps us kind of play on camera and just get comfortable with each other. Andrew was a pro. He came so prepared. Like he knew the entire script, like every word, every scene. He had it memorized before we started filming the movie. I was
Wow.
like, wow. I'm like, I've never seen that before. I'm like, but cool. Okay. But at least we know you're prepared and you can help me out right before each scene because I'm going to be jumping around and doing, all these things. So, I just think, yeah, creating a safe space with one another, talking about, if there is a kissing scene, what you're comfy with, is this okay? Having that dialogue as well. And just like letting go and enjoying the person for who they are, and finding the love in every scene. So that's kind of like my trick for finding chemistry. I lucked out with all these Christmas movies because I've loved all my co-stars, but I'm sure, there have been times where it's hard to create chemistry or someone just doesn't want to open up or whatnot. And you can't control that as an actor. You just bring your best and you do it. But what's funny is sometimes the people I thought I had the least chemistry with worked the best on screen. So I was like, oh, wow, either they edited this really, really good. Or I was too hard on myself at the time, or was thinking too much about worrying about that being a pair versus just worrying about what the scene is about. You know what I mean? I think that's really what it comes down to, is really making sure each scene has a very clear intention. And with these Christmas movies, that's usually love.
Mm-hmm. Yes, of course. Well, so was it fun to set up all these like fake records? They weren't like real, but they had to look real.
Yeah, it was really cute because they brought in so many adorable characters into the movie that were doing so many cute things. Like I said, I would never even have thought of, or I'm like, the writer as well. She did a fabulous job at coming.
She's amazing.
She's amazing.
Yeah.
It's so cute. Like all the different scenarios I came up with were very, very interesting. And the characters that, like I was saying, that got cast were just so adorable coming in. And
yeah, she did another movie this season called Well Suited for Christmas, which is so good.
With Franco in there, right?
Yes.
Franco? Yes.
Yeah.
And didn't that air already? I think that was.
Yeah. It was one of the first ones. And it was so good. And so she's got I'll be interested in any project that she writes from now on after that.
I know you said that.
Oh yeah, she's a really good writer, writer. So I'm excited. I actually haven't watched this one yet because they were late about getting me the screener.
Mm.
But it sounds like a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to it for sure.
I just watched it a couple days ago.
Nice.
I watched the first time I watch it. I can't see. It's like I'm just picturing everything that happened behind the lens on each scene. So I'm always like, and it's like I have to watch it a second time to actually see what happened in the movie.
Yeah.
It's
Well, it
just
must
judging.
be. Yeah, I'm sure that that's very, very nerve-wracking.
Every time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have to watch it alone. I can't watch it with anybody else because I just have to sit there and be like, okay, it's happening.
Are you gonna have like a watching party though on Thursday?
I am. I'm gonna
Yeah,
have
good.
and I'll get some popcorn and some like wine, and we can just sit down and I love Christmas.
That'll be
Anything
really
that brings
fun.
people together is my favorite. So there's
Well, and how nice, even though it's a pain with the heat problems, but to get a little bit of Christmas in the summer,
oh yeah.
when you film
Honestly,
it.
Oh, you mean on the set?
Well, yeah, just that you get to celebrate Christmas even outside of December because you're filming these Christmas movies.
I feel like the last 3 years I've celebrated Christmas without a pause.
Yeah.
Christmas, and I'm not complaining. It's fine.
Right.
I'll take Christmas all year long. That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, very good. We're excited for the movie. We have some fun Christmas questions we like to end on.
Okay, let's do it.
Okay. First one, what is your favorite holiday drink?
Oh, hot toddy.
Okay, good. What is your favorite holiday cookie or treat?
Gingerbread.
Good. Okay. What is your favorite Christmas song or carol?
If I can remember any of them. Out there.
Like Jingle Bells?
Jingle. I think I sing that in the movie. Jingle bells.
Oh, there we go.
There we go.
Okay. What is your favorite classic Christmas movie?
The Grinch.
Oh, okay. Jim Carrey?
Yeah, and the original one too.
Yeah, love that cartoon.
Yeah.
All right. Well, this should answer this question. Which do you like better, Scrooge or the Grinch?
Well, my favorite Christmas movie is The Grinch, and I'm a Scrooge in Record Breaking Christmas. So I'm gonna go with The Grinch just because that's what I watch every single year.
Yeah.
So let's stick to that one.
Okay. Yeah. Which do you like better, clear lights or colored?
Clear.
Okay. Would you rather be in a snowball fight or build a snowman?
Fight. Oh my God. Nothing better than chucking the snowball at someone and being okay and throwing it back at you.
Yeah. Have you gotten to do any of those in your Christmas movies? Any snowball fights?
Yeah, I have one in Homemade Christmas with Travis.
Yeah,
that was
okay. Fun. Good. Do you consider yourself a good gift wrapper or not?
I would say I'm okay. And maybe it's the mood. Like if I'm patient that day, it could be really nice. If I'm impatient, it's just like a ball, just like tape wrapped around and just throw that under the tree.
Yeah, you're just like the gift. Who cares? Yeah.
It's all about what, here.
Yeah. All right. Last question. Do you have an ugly Christmas sweater? What's your ugliest?
Do. It is. And what was
what's your ugliest Christmas sweater?
Okay. It's ugly, but it's like, it's still cute, ugly, right?
Right.
Christmas sweaters are still cute. So I have one, and that was one of the themes for Thursday's premiere party, that people have to come either wearing a onesie, red or green if they want to be boring, or an ugly Christmas sweater.
Nice. Oh, that'll be really fun. That'll be great. Well, very good. You answered all the questions.
Oh, that was fun. Yeah, that was really lovely to chat with you.
Yeah, it was so nice to get to meet you. And if people want to follow you on social media or anything like that, how can they do that?
Oh my gosh, anytime. So I do have Instagram. I'm not a big Twitter person, but I do have Instagram, and you can just follow my name, Michelle Argyris. So
great. Yeah. Well, very good. Well, thanks so much, and hope you have a very Merry Christmas and enjoy your watch party.
Oh, thank you. Merry Christmas.